If you are experiencing foundation issues, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Good morning to Dawson Dobson. Dawson, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Last time we talked, you were continuing to move and groove in the racing circuit. Tell us what's going on now.
I just wrapped up the Kendall Full Gas Sprint Enduro National Championship.
All right, show us. We've got a trophy coming too later on. And
Yes, sir.
the Kendall Full Gas Sprint Enduro Open B National Champion. Now, how did this happen?
We started off early in the year in Blackshear, Georgia. This is the second time I've won this title, and I couldn't be happier with it.
Now, for people who don't know Dawson Dobson, tell them a little bit about yourself. This is going across all of Alabama on charter cable, so update us and tell us how you got your start and where we are now.
I started when I was about 6 years old on a little Honda 50, and we gradually progressed over the years. And 2016 we won 2 titles, the GNCC and the Full Gas. And then we took 2017 off due for unforeseen circumstances. We started back this year with a vengeance and took it race for race. And
actually, you didn't even have to run in this last race. You had enough points accumulated to be crowned champion.
Yes, sir. Going into the last round, I had a 100-point difference between me and second place. And after second place is finished, I ended up winning the championship by 40 points.
What were your feelings when you knew this was coming down and you was going to be crowned champion? That'd be exciting.
It really was. It's really unexplainable. It's a feeling like nothing else. I love it. It's just adrenaline through all the races.
You kind of eat, sleep, everything for this type of racing.
Yes, sir, I do. I get up in the mornings and I go straight to the gym. I get home, I do my schoolwork, and then I go and I ride, do my training, and the rest is just resting.
Now, you're going to be over in Maplesville real soon.
Yes, sir. That'll be my last race of the year. It's going to be November the 4th. It's the National Enduro, and I am planning on racing that series next year. So we're just going to go and get a feel for it and see what the competition is like and go ahead and base everything off for next year.
Now, you don't get to race in your home state very much.
No, and I really don't. This is 50 miles from my home. Mm-hmm. And
kind of like a homecoming, isn't it?
It is. It really is. And I'm very happy about that. It's not going to be a 16-hour drive, so that's going to be really nice. You can't just beat Alabama's atmosphere. It is amazing. It's great. The people are nice. It's just all-around great time.
Talk about, Dawson, this type of racing competition that you're involved in and your vision for your future.
Well, this type of racing is, you take off one rider at a time in 20-second intervals. You take off and you have 6 tests per day, one test being a cross test, the other being an enduro test. Enduro meaning the woods, and cross meaning a grass track or a motocross type track.
Now, how fast are you going on these type?
I really don't have a certain speed.
Okay.
We don't run speedometers, but I'll tell you, there's certain times it feels like you're just flying. But, and then, just you do 2 days of racing. And 6
So
tests.
there are how many steps to each race?
Each race is a total of 2 days of racing, 12 tests, 6 tests per day.
Wow. And you have to certainly be in top physical shape to compete in something like this.
Oh, yes, sir. You have to be in the best physical and mental shape you can possibly be.
How do you get ready for a race? Just talk about the Maplesville race for a minute. How do you prepare for something like that?
Well, we're starting with preparing. We're going to be riding up at Top Trails for the next solid 2 weeks every day. Top Trail's a great place. It's tight woods, almost exact what I'll be racing. So, just get up. We got to make sure the diet is perfect each day, 1 cheat meal per week. Make sure all the training is right. I'm getting the proper balance of nutrition. I'm getting the proper cardio, the proper weight training, everything.
Now, a little bit on the diet part of it and the meal planning part. You got to be a stickler for something like that.
Yes, sir, you do. It just basically consists of lean chicken, turkey meat. I try to stay away from the red meat. Red meat makes you kind of heavy, keeps your weight a little bit higher.
Is that what happened to me?
Nah, you look great.
You're a smart young man. You don't comment on that.
Papa didn't raise no fool.
So speaking of your family, you got your family involved with you in your travels and your training.
Yes, sir. My dad and my grandmother support me through everything with it all. My grandmother helps me with my cooking. She cheers me on. My dad helps me with my bikes. They both help me with everything. Now,
they're with you at most every track, right?
Yes, sir, they are.
Wow. Family affair. Dawson Dobson, the Kenda Full Gas Sprint Enduro Open B National Champion. We're not talking about state champion. We're not talking about regional champion. We're talking about national champion. And, I guess you never stop. The 2019 is just around the corner.
Yes, sir, it is. We'll be starting in probably late February to early March. So, prep has got to start now, to be ready for it. You got to pick up speed. You got to pick up everything. You just got to make sure it's there, and you got to make sure you're ready.
How do you keep your passion alive and driven?
Well, it's kind of easy to keep the passion for it. I mean, it's a great sport. It's something I love so much. And, the passion's pretty easy to keep. The diet, that's kind of hard to stay on.
Talk about your 1 week cheat meal. What can that consist of for you?
Well, I'm kind of an ice cream guy myself, so I love the Dairy Queen. I love the fried chicken, and I like to get a large Blizzard.
Once a week's not bad.
It's not too bad.
Dawson Dobson, our guest this morning, and people who, they see you in the limelight, they see you as a national champion. What are some of the things that go on behind the scenes, though, that are parts to you becoming national champion?
A lot of people don't see the behind-the-scenes work. It's nothing but hard work. It's dedication. It's busting your butt every day to get everything done and to be ready. And a lot of people, they kind of underestimate that.
Keeping the bike up to speed. And I don't know how many bikes you have or how often you change bikes, but you have to do maintenance on them for sure.
Yes, sir. I have 3 bikes. So, after each ride, we have to change the oil. You got to check the antifreeze levels. You got to mix gas. You got to tighten all the bolts, make sure all the bolts are tight, tighten the chain, check the spokes. Just normal things. Sometimes you do have to go through and redo the top end, bottom end.
When you're on a course and, you run in all kind of weather, and you're on a course, what are you thinking when you're piloting your bike and trying to get to the next point?
I try to think about the next corner and what I'm going to have to be.
I mean, there's no communication.
There's no communication. When you do pass my father, we'll have a pit board out writing, what's going on, what times you're running,
Do you get kind of a feel of it, though, without the board being up? Do you kind of get a feel of where you may be on a track?
Yes, sir. Going out there, you pretty much know how it went for you. I mean, you have that feeling that lets you know that, yeah, I did this.
For those of you who may not know, there's a lot of bumps and bruises and broken bones go along with this type. You've got some history of that, too.
Yes, sir. I believe I've broken 17 bones. Actually, my worst break was in football, so that was kind of the career ending for me.
Yeah.
If I don't get hurt, it's going to be on the motorcycle.
Yeah, you only got 16 broken bones, but you remember going to football.
That's right.
Dawson Dobson, our guest this morning. He's based out of Sylacauga, Alabama. He's a Kenda Full Gas Sprint Enduro Open B National Champion for the second time. And that's a big, big deal. And we want to remind you that he's going to be over in Maplesville in early November, and that'll be a chance to see Dobson in the final race of the season as we kind of close the curtain on the calendar year 2018. Look back at 2018, the number of events that you've participated in. Did you see a turning point there one way or another that say, hey, this is going to be a good year?
I did. I went in first day. I had a good test on the first test. Second test, I went in. I got stuck for 30 minutes. I was okay. This isn't going to be a good weekend. I go back out. I win the next test. I get stuck again. I'm going to day 2, sitting 8th place, hour out of first. I go in, I win Sunday.
I mean, that's a high hill to climb right there.
It is, and you know, all the way home, I knew going into the series I could win the title, and then it's like when I left the second day of racing and headed home, it's like I'm going to win this. And since then, there wasn't any doubts or anything like that.
How does it feel to represent your hometown, home state, being a national champion?
Oh, it feels great. You know, I don't believe there's any better feeling in the world, but it really feels amazing.
Well, for folks who may not know the landscape of Maplesville, where are you going to be racing at now?
You know, next year.
No, do you know the name of the area you're going to be going to?
Oh, yes, it's going to be the Reynolds Pasture at, I believe it's Perry Mountain Motorcycle Club.
Okay. And as you mentioned, preparation already going on for 2019.
Yes, sir. We're already starting prep for next year. We're already changing programs so we can last longer on the bike and so we can be stronger.
How difficult was it, Dawson, to not participate in 17 and you come into 18 and how did that feel?
It was tough. I mean, it was really tough. It was a very trying time in my life. Being able to watch everybody race and being just sitting at home.
Kind of jealous a little bit, I guess. I would be.
I was a little envious, yes. But, you know, it was a very trying time. And if I knew if I could just make it through that, it'd be all right.
Ballpark cost fielding your team and your equipment in a year, just a ballpark cost?
It's kind of expensive, yes. You know, bikes, they run about $8,000 to $10,000.
Not real cheap, are they?
No. And then you have parts on top of that as well as fuel expenses and everything going to and from.
Favorite track that you run?
My favorite track this year was probably Lake Sugar Tree. You know,
where's that?
It was in Axton, Virginia.
Okay.
It was a beautiful black topsoil dirt. It rained 8 inches the night before, and when it rains, I just love it. That's me. And first test, went out there and went by a minute.
You get mud all over you?
Oh yes, your face was caked with it. You just peel it off of you.
Fantastic. Dawson Dobson, the Kenda Full Gas Sprint Enduro Open B National Champion. He'll be over in Maplesville on November 4th, right?
That's correct.
And what time does the event take place?
So the first row will take off at 8 o'clock, and I'm taking off on row 77, so I will take off somewhere closer to 10 o'clock.
Okay. If y'all want to be a part of it, please do. And they're by Maplesville, Alabama. I think it's in Chilton County. And Dawson Dobson representing Sylacauga, Alabama as the national champion in the Full Gas Sprint Enduro Open B competition. And congratulations. Fantastic job.
Thank you.
All right. We got more Daybreak coming up right after this.